Ahora Piotr de 11-Bit Studios va a hacer su charla sobre el caso de éxito de Frostpunk. La charla es en inglés, creo que hay traducción si la necesitáis, ¿vale? Y veremos si hay tiempo para preguntas o no, pero bueno, de momento espero que, y estoy seguro, que todo lo que nos va a explicar Piotr os va a ser muy interesante para vosotros. Por favor, un aplauso para Piotr.
Thank you so much. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is it muted once? Oh, no, you can hear me right now. Yeah, OK. So hello, I'm Piotr Bajraszewski from 11-Bit Studios. And today I will tell about what we did with Frostpunk, about the... sorry, no, it's not doable. About Casa de Éxito of Frostpunk, but from business perspective more than from the development perspective. As you can see, I'm business development manager. But first, before I go directly to Frostpunk, I would love to tell a little bit more about the general market that we have right now on Steam, which probably, as you know, is very, very harsh right now. Only last year, 7,672 games were released on Steam, and that is a lot. That is really a lot. There are basically no releases during weekends, during Steam sales, etc., etc. So there were days that even 70 new games were released at one day. So you have to compete with 69 different titles at the same day of your release. That's a lot, especially if you are trying to get Twitchers' attention that we had presentation 5 minutes ago, press attention, players' attention, and also, as you know, everyone has a limited budget, so it's not possible to buy 70 games per day. So, to give you perspective, this is your game, the small red line. That is your game comparing to the game that were released only last year. And of course, you are competing also with games on discounts, with Counter-Strike, with PUBG, with all the games that were released well before 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, and are still selling well, like, for example, this War of Mine. I think I have some echo here, maybe because of... OK, sorry, I'm back. Is there an echo on the audience? No, OK. OK, so coming next. The problem is that it's even worse, because as you can see here, you are one of the 7,000 games, but the problem is that the income on Steam is divided mostly through the best-selling games on Steam. So total income in 2017 was $4.4 billion, which seems like a lot, which seems like a big cake that everyone can get piece of. However, the problem was that 50% of that cake was divided through 100 games only. 100 games, which means that 0.5% of games that were available on Steam gathered 50% of the total income on Steam. On the 20th place, here we can see, OK, you basically cannot see anything, sorry for the quality, but at the bottom of the list, there is Cuphead, which was very big success last year. Are you sure there is no echo? Because I'm hearing some, but maybe it's only here. OK. So at the bottom of the list, there is a Cuphead, which was a big success last year. One of the best-selling indie ever, etc. It's a beautiful game, probably all of you know. And it was on the 20th place, and it earned roughly around $22 million. So it's not like enormously big. So now I scared you. I hope I have your attention. And once again, before talking about Frostpunk, I would love to share some basic facts. We are not only developers, we are also publishers, and we receive a lot of pitches, like really a lot of pitches, and 90% of them have wrong business assumptions. So I would love to share with you some basic facts. How much actually do you earn from one copy sold on Steam? So let's assume that you have the game that cost $30. Do you know how much actually you, in your P&L, profit and loss, how much you can estimate that you will earn from selling a $30 game on Steam? Like, anyone? 10 euro. Yeah? Okay, so at least not 21. Because the problem is that sometimes people only deduct the Steam margin, which is 30%, and that's all. They are multiplying by 1 million copies that they won't sell, etc., etc. But the problem is that it's not working like that. First of all, you have reseller margin that is 30%, of course. Then you have taxes. In US, that's 10% withholding tax. That's, in theory, you are getting it back, but you need to remember about it. In European Union, you have a VIT that you, in Spain, it's high. In Poland, it's high. And it's getting 20% of your actual sales. The only good thing right now on Steam is that if you are selling in China and Russia, you are not paying taxes. However, the very important thing that you need to think about when you are planning your sales is the price localization. Because they're in cheap regions on Steam, like in Russia, in China, in Poland even, in Brazil, the price is much lower than an average price you have on Steam. And the thing is that those regions are getting much more popular. For Frostpunk, China is like top 3 market for us. So that is why, basically what you, and I'm talking only about 50, like the day one sales. So what you are getting when you are selling the game in the full price, basically you need to estimate like 50% of SRP, so 50 euro, if on the day one sales. However, here I have deducted only 20% on the price differences because of the regions. If your game will be popular only in China, for example, it will be even lower, which is a main problem, and really a lot of people forget about it. They are analyzing wish lists before the release, they are estimating the sales, they are getting sales there, but the problem is that they are not getting the revenue they want. And I know it sounds like a very rookie mistake, but recently Starbreeze Studio, well, basically they went bust almost. The developers of The Walking Dead. And actually the CEO of the company admitted that they are selling more. Interestingly, sales of The Walking Dead have been higher than expected in some territories, such as China and Russia, but as they are low-price markets, it's not enough to offset the poor performance elsewhere. And that's the thing. They are selling a lot of copies, however, the money coming in are much lower than they expected. Of course, there were some other problems with the game, the price was too high, etc., etc. However, that's something you need to take into consideration, because right now, Chinese players on Steam are number 2, number 1. It depends on the game. Okay, so I scared you even more, because it's hard market, you are earning much less than you thought. So what to do if you don't want to die? And now I will talk more from Frostpunk perspective. Because what you need to do is, of course, you need to promote your game. You need to reach out to streamers. You need to reach out to press. You need to be on various shows, etc., etc. But that's not enough, because if you are only presenting your game and you are not taking any lessons of what is happening, you are blind, basically, and you don't know if you're making progress or not. So in terms of promotion, of course, there are like various promotion things that you can do. You can make streams, hands-on, so you can present the game on the shows like we have Indie Booth here, press tours, press shows. So you can reach out to press in the Germany, in US, organize a tour for them, send them preview demos. So you can send beta version, send it out there to get feedback, to present the game, basically. You can make dev updates. You can release trailers. And, last thing, actually, free weekend. That's not the best way to promote your game, actually, especially on day one. However, I wanted to share, as it's Frostpunk postmortem, what we did with Frostpunk. 1 month before the release of Frostpunk, we have released, we made a free weekend of This War of Mine, and we told that, hey, Frostpunk is coming in 1 month, play This War of Mine because it's a great game, and wishlist Frostpunk. And actually, it was super good because, of course, people like free games, so news was spreaded everywhere. And well, everyone was like, because of the upcoming Frostpunk, you can play This War of Mine this week. So we get a lot of attention using the previous title, which is always a useful thing. But you know, we had This War of Mine in our pocket, which made our job a little bit easier. So observing, when you are promoting, sorry, I will just grab. When you are promoting your game, it's super important not only to promote it, but also observe the numbers, observe the indicators. And that's actually what we are doing a lot in terms of Frostpunk. So you need to check the wish list. You need to check the page views of your games. Right now on Steam, you have full Google Analytics. So you can check the visits, the regions, how much time people spent on the page, everything. Of course, with your game, you can, when you launch pre-orders, you can see the number of pre-orders that you have. Maybe you need to postpone the release because the number are low, or search for other reason. In your game, you have Steam community, the number which is visible to everyone. Marketing reach, so Twitch stats, views, reactions, shares. You need to observe all the numbers and understand them. Of course, social media fans and engagement, that's some other thing. And Kickstarter, which is also sometimes a good proof of concept for an indie game. However, successful Kickstarter does not mean always successful release. What's important about those numbers is that you can also check them in your competition. So you can check other games, check their Steam communities, marketing reach, etc., and compare yourself to the other games. And sorry about that. And why it's so important to observe those numbers? Because you need to react to them. You need to understand them and understand what is working for your games. When you are releasing new trailer and you have high peak on the wish list, that means it's working. But if you release new trailer and even you get some views on YouTube or you pay for traffic, but you are not getting any bump on wish list or page views, it means that you are doing something wrong. So you need to understand the full path, like conversion in e-commerce, from releasing the promo material to reaction that you are getting, to bumps in wish list, to bumps in page views. And another more important thing is never overpromise, because it's super easy to overpromise the best game ever, like Fallout 76, the best game, it will be perfect, etc., etc. And there are a lot of examples. No Man's Sky, Surviving Mars even. The game that had super cool trailer, a lot of views, a lot of wish list, even a lot of pre-orders, but then day one and negative reviews, you are sinking down. Especially if you are indie, or indie as Frostpunk was, you have only day one, and that's the top visibility you will have. So if you are over-promising before the day one, and then the day one is a disaster, it's really hard to resurrect the game. One other thing about marketing reach is always a million cuts. That's super important to observe the wish list, to observe the page views, because it's never one material. With Frostpunk, we made a million cuts. Like, press here, press there, one article there, something, one thing after another. It's never that you will release one perfect trailer that would be the best trailer that's on the market, and that trailer will sell your game. That really rarely happens. Of course, social media fans and engagement of your social fans is super important because those people are promoters of your game. Those people will buy the game on the day one, but they will also promote them, write positive reviews, etc. So it's important to take care of the community that already know your game and to deliver them high quality assets. So, how it looked, how all the numbers looked with Frostpunk. On the day one, we had 377,000 wish list on Steam, which is a lot, and 61 million total social media coverage, 10 million total views of the videos that we shared. But once again, it was million cuts. It was 7, I guess, different trailers. And we had 100,000 members of Steam community, and it was constantly growing for months and months before the release. It was not like one bump. And we had 900 articles in major media, and I'm talking about major media, not small, I don't know, page that has 1,000 views monthly. And comparing to this war of mine, well, for social media coverage and views of videos, it's hard for us, so we are not comparing the data. But wishlist, we had much more. Wishlists are super crucial right now on Steam. For this war of mine, we had only 50,000. Now here we had 677,000. Half of Steam community, 1/3 of media, but the market is growing as well. So you need to pump those numbers to achieve a good sales. Yeah. And what's also important is to iterate your game and listen to the feedback. If you, once again, you are sending beta build to press, you are sending beta build to streamers, watch the streamers, watch the reactions, analyze them, and make improvement in your games. Basically, Frostpunk, the release of Frostpunk was postponed 4 or 5 times because still we were sure that we need to improve more and more and more and more. And I showed that yesterday already, that is a early version of Frostpunk, and it was actually playable. But some things at that point, after feedback, we have realized that they are not working. Like here you had bears, misie, it's bears in Poland, and that you cannot like play outside the dome. And even at that point of prototype, we already knew it's not working. That's alpha version of Frostpunk. Some of you that played the game can see some similarities, but once again, it's about listening to feedback, iterating, and throwing to trash the things that are not working. That's how the game looked at the day one. Okay, day one was a huge success, but still there were some complaints. People wanted to play more, so we increased the game. Last week, we have released the endless mode to Frostpunk, which gives you an ability to build really big city. And about testing. People are very similar to each other. Gamers are very similar, and they are complaining about the same things, about the same games. So internal tests, focus tests are super crucial, and you cannot ignore them. If people are complaining about one thing in your game, you cannot say, oh, you don't know anything, you're not a game designer, you're not in the game industry, I know better. No, people will complain about the same thing, and actually we made a series of focus tests, and basically 2 months prior to the release, after internal test, we had like 8.8 review from focus testers, not internal test. And that was actually our meta score 1 month after the release. The same score, absolutely the same score. So when people, so it takes a lot of iteration, and you need to rework, throw away, iterate, and work more. And that's how it works. Like, there were some releases this year that get, for example, mixed reviews on the day one, and when you are browsing through comments, the people are complaining about the same things. So if you postpone the release and address the thing, it really may increase your sales. So then, after everything we did, there was a release day. And during first 66 hours, we have sold 250,000 copies only on PC. Not Mac, only PC, mostly Steam. And we were on #1 global top seller for 2 weeks on Steam, on Humble Store, on GOG.com. So the major Steam stores that out there. And our community increased to 250,000 Steam community members. That's really a lot, and you need to address them. You need to talk with them. After the release, we went for a party, and we were super drunk, of course, because we are from Poland. So that's a photo of us celebrating the Frostpunk release. And it was a bigger success than This War of Mine, something that a lot of people said it's not possible. Like, of course, we are a small studio from Poland. This War of Mine was a huge success, but it was a game about war, so it was a good topic, etc., etc. We had a lot of negative feedback, but not from players, and that was the crucial part. Players loved the game from the beginning. So we iterate, we made 1 million cuts, and it worked. On Twitch, on the day of the release, we had 55,000 viewers. I think it was 60,000 in peak, which was the number somewhere between Hearthstone and PUBG. It was 5th place, something like that. Sadly, we were drunk when we were making screenshots, so it's only on mobile. But yeah. And we reached out to, well, we were in the big media, like Washington Post even wrote about Frostpunk. However, once again, it's about million cuts. Like Unilat Gaming made a video about Frostpunk. On the left corner, you cannot see the numbers, but that video alone gave us 800,000 views. But it was one of the many things that we needed to do with Frostpunk. Our community made actually in-game weapons. It's 3D printed blade from Frostpunk. On 9gag, there was a series of memes about Frostpunk, all of them on the top page of 9gag. So basically, we were able to make a snowball effect, but that's what you need promoters for. The people that love your game, that will make a comics about your game, that will love your game, and they will talk about it. But it's only the beginning. Not of my presentation, luckily, but I think we'll need like 5 more minutes. Because a lot of people still want to play Frostpunk. And the most important part is the product lifecycle management. Like, you cannot make a minus 50% price drop after 1 week of the release. Once again, if you are Bethesda, you can, but yeah. Tomb Raider, same thing, but people will hate it. People will be really furious about it. Because like, this is comparison of first 2 weeks of revenue, This War of Mine, to Anomaly. Yeah, here you have Anomaly, here you have This War of Mine, and here Frostpunk, 2 weeks after the release. Well, This War of Mine was 16 times more than Anomaly, our previous game, and Frostpunk was 4 times more than This War of Mine in terms of revenue. However, what is crucial, the first 2 weeks are only the beginning of your journey with your game. You need to monetize it very carefully, not discount it much, develop the game further, treat your community with respect, and don't go with bundle like 1 week after the release. And here you can see like the first Anomaly is like, there is actually a line here. It's super small, but it is. And this is like 3 years versus first 2 weeks. 3 years of This War of Mine versus 2 weeks. And as you can see, for This War of Mine, like 3 years revenue comparing to first 2 weeks, it was super, super big. With Frostpunk, hopefully we'll be able to reach the same. And the product life cycle, as I mentioned, don't be greedy. Analyze what's happening. If you're making a promo and you are not getting sales at all, check the Google Analytics. Maybe nobody knows about your promo, so don't make higher discount. Maybe promote the game more or something like that. Don't make any hasty moves. Analyze, think, and read everything that players are talking. Because if you're making like minus 50% out of nowhere and the sales are super low, then you need to go to Google Analytics and see if anybody actually went to the page and have seen it. Maybe not, and maybe that's the problem, not the price. And Steam database is your friend. On Steam database, SteamDB, you can analyze all the games that are on the market, the price history, etc., etc. That's almost the end. That's BitCop, the game from our publishing portfolio, and the crucial part here is that the BitCop actually had quite a slow start. As you can see, like first month cumulative income, comparing to the whole income that we generated from the game, is quite small. The release wasn't a big success, but due to the BizDev activities, slowly discounting the game, promoting it, etc., etc., we were able to to make money out of the game, and now we are earning, because after 3 months we covered the development cost, and after 6 months we covered the total cost of the project. So now we are earning. But if we would, pointer is not working. If we would like discount the game heavily on the first discount, we wouldn't be able to make such a waterfall of income. It would be one maybe bigger bump, but then it will be very, very flat. So what you can do in terms of post-release BizDev, you can make coupons with your other games that you have. You can make dedicated promos, of course, like midweek madness, week-long deals, daily deals, etc. But remember that there are other stores than Steam. Of course, Steam is crucial in terms of sales. However, it's super important to cooperate with other stores because they are giving also visibility. It's not only about sales. It's about visibility and, once again, million cuts of your game. And of course, DLC, free updates. Coming back to Frostpunk, recently we have launched the endless mode for Frostpunk. And during last month, we got 4,000 reviews, and 96% of them are positive. It was a little bit, of course, due to the contest that was on Steam, that please review your game, etc. But still, like adding additional content, addressing the fans, addressing your promoters is really, really crucial, and you cannot ignore it. And that's what we always do, and take care of our community, and people really appreciate it right now, especially when you have so many bad games, AAA bad games on the markets. And bundles, they're good, but humble monthly bundles, etc. There are quick cash to earn, but be careful about it. So last thing, that should be, especially if you are BizDev or you are a lead of your studio, that should be like your new homepage. Steam Spy, Steam Database, and Enhanced Steam plugin. Those are the things that are giving a lot of insights about the games that are on the market. Steam right now is leaking really, really a lot of data, and it's really important to use that data. And when you are thinking about how to promote your game, how to discount your game, use the data that are on the market right now. So that would be all. Thank you very much.